Greetings, precious, divine, magnificent, eternal being that you are. Increasing your spiritual pleasures. Woo! That's a good one. See, we're pleasure seekers because our nature is pleasure. And probably what got us into this situation of this system is the desire to experience perhaps physical pleasures or pleasures of the senses that were of a material nature somehow. What may I say? And then what happens is people get locked into the place for pleasure is in the pleasure of what you're hearing as whatever maybe you like rap or you like pop or you like whatever. These sounds then in the hearing actually produce an effect because they are a frequency. Spiritual nature is vibration and material nature is frequency. So when we shift our center, our source of pleasure from ourselves, which is we all have the same super soul, you might say, we call God within that, but actually we're within and part of the divine. However, inhabiting this particular reality, this body and such, and experiencing these physical senses. So in always looking how to experience physical sensations or physical pleasures, this is a relentless kind of activity that drives people. Just like an example would be when all of this fields all around us, because I live on a herb farm in a sense, in the center of a meadow, and anyway, then they hayed all this fields all the way around us and all of that. This is to feed these cows that they're going to then sell to slaughterhouses, and where all that goes, and into the selling of the meat and all of this. But for even if it was a person did it for any one or two, it's for the food or what people think that they would get from that as nutrition. And I look at all the work, all the effort, all the time, all the energy, all of this that would be produced when there's other ways, such as drying fruit or such. And what happens is, with lack of real knowledge about how the body functions, and I'll tell you, there's a great book by Moritz, Moritz, and he wrote The Amazing Liver and Gallbladder Flush. It's such an easy way to understand, and then I have actually cleaned my liver 36 times in that, only because of so much that I had eaten and taken into my body: alcohol, animals, flesh, bad oil, all the junk, any of that stuff, stress, because the liver performs over 500 functions. And so the cleansing then of the body and all of this sort of thing. So to increase then our spiritual pleasures only leads to also even the food that we eat becomes even more pleasurable because it's in the mode of divine goodness. And in that mode of goodness, in fact, a really wonderful way of looking at health is through the Ayurveda system, which is about different body types and health and vegetarian. It also looks at meat as milk and whole, obviously raw milk from healthy cows is very good. People have had that for years and years and years. Well, the cows are also considered one of our mothers because of that, or then the cheese, and then making it all bad and wrong, just like that will happen. But when you look to perceive what is actually natural and what is harmonious, and people say, well, that would only be for cows for other cows, but for not necessarily. You have to look at where that information and knowledge is coming from and who's behind that. And when you want to increase your spiritual pleasures, that means that you must allow yourself to experience more of the divine pleasure of the soul. And then how your activities are, because our nature is for the welfare of all and the encouragement, the love, the support for people to really be who they are. And it's like the other day, my friend Denise and I were going down to Dunsmuir, this cool little town below Shasta, and there was this little shop that had just opened, and we saw like little things outside, and we could it be a vintage place. We like vintage things and stuff. So anyway, this young woman came out to greet us with a big smile and stuff. So I thought, we're coming back. So we drove around, parked, and said, she's someone that we can give our support to. And we went in, got to know she's an artist, what she's doing, where she was. And also we talked about what you think of me is none of my business. She started crying. And it was like, yes, she's a person, and she wants to use local artists. And also my friend Denise is an artist. And I don't know, it's just divine magic. And I don't like to even use that word because magic is an illusion, but it's the divine, the witnessing of the sweetness, the harmony, the balance of the love. And our pleasure is so great when we can encourage and bring joy and thrill to someone who's simply recognized for who they are and where they are. And this is giving us up this critical mind, this carnal, critical, dog-eat-dog, conflict destroy, who's better, who's worse, mind that is eating people up over and over and over and consuming. And what happens is it's not about being somewhere else, because you're always right there. And when you transform where you are right now by being where you are right now, rather than in the mind and in the past, and what is everybody thinking about the past, analyzing, figure I could have, should have, would have done, and it was there, and then you went over, and then you think about where it could be, of what I'm going to say, what I'm going to wear, how am I going to, what are they going to think about me, what happens if this happens, where is that? That is draining you of your vital energy, your power, your force. It's diffusing. It's taking it and keeping you in a state of anxiety and fear because of disconnection. And to get back into connection is to get back into nature, and to get back with the shoes off when you can, and because now you're also balancing and lie down on the grass. And I have a place I have in my yard where I just have this area where it's so great for walking, and then when people come for retreats and workshops, when they can and are willing, it's a nice place just to sit down on the lawn and to be there and just be right there in nature. And then the more we are, the less the fear is there, because the more strength we have, and the more, see, if something happened to technology or anything else, most people would just be gone, in a sense, of their place, because they don't know how to take care of themselves. But more than that, it's the knowing of your eternal and being self that you're already expressing and manifesting as, expressing in every way now. It's not tomorrow, not next now. No, this now, this now, this now, this now, this now. That's you. And when you do that and you're there, and you get yourself there, and to be quiet in nature and turning off all these electronics and getting yourself away from this system of complete absorption in the electronic world. And also then it becomes all of this to own your own self and power. And that's what I do working on that for retreats and workshops here, or counseling over the phone, teaching, coming to workshops up here at Shasta. This is what I do. So, if you can email me for any interest as what's going on, and check the website. And I'm not, real up to the minute on the website. I got so much I'm doing that it's, just being. It's just the best. But anyway, look at what increases your spiritual pleasures, you see. And allowing yourself, it's the pleasure of the soul, love of the divine, love of God within, which is truly love of yourself, but it is the self that we all have, super self, which is who we are and is our loving. Last night I was just like sitting and just going into this state of what it is to love the divine, the being, the presence, the person. Yes, the greatest pleasure. Pleasure of the soul.
Okay, you want to do another one?
Okay. Right now?
Okay, just put your head down out of the frame real quick. Okay, good one.
Okay.
That's the take one.
Greetings, dear precious spirit soul that you are. You know, it's real important for us to play, to be as children, and wise. It's being childlike, not childish. It's the childlikeness of our eternal self. If I say youth, then people think bodies or wisdom as old. And yet there is a great value in our seniors who have dedicated their experience to gathering knowledge and wisdom and put in their publications or their way in their paths that have great wisdom for us. And not to put that down and just because see all the blaming and all there's book burning, which is to take things off the internet, to get rid of information and knowledge so that what people will focus on is only what they're told and taught, and anything outside that is insanity, or anything outside that is create anything. And when this is where that goes. This is where the mind machine goes. And as you witness that and you could perceive that, what you want is to allow yourself to bring forth the child, because, well, how could I play with these worries? How could I be happy with this? Well, first of all, shift everything, and if it's a job or it's anything else, call it a game. And yet not a game of winners and losers, but a game of win-win. When I did my work in San Diego and La Jolla and had my Emmy-winning international television program in ministry, starting in 1979, I believe, yes, and going through 1985 in the year kind of a thing. And my work, when I went to La Jolla to do my church and congregation, was the divine experiment, which I'm still doing. And what it is to discover and realize and activate what is truly possible for each of us as whoever and whatever we are and whatever that is. And that the God, if there is a God, the divine, and who and what that is and how that is and all how it operates, all that, yes. And that so that to really notice that you have that ability and power to actually claim that. But what happens is when the mind is closed in these boxes of information that are protected, called beliefs, that people live in, so-called live and die, but you're an eternal and you don't die, but you know the whole body thing and all that, for these things is it's such a distraction to keep you from empowering and being who you are. And as you are that, you are naturally acknowledging your unification and unity with all, unless we do that right now, always, that we do know each other. We activate that, we activate who we are, what we're here for, and knowing that the whole here for that we have been involved in has been part of this repetitive energy system, like a unlimited energy system. And to have that, you'd have to be able to control the source of that unlimited energy, and that's us, because we are the energy of the energetic. And as that energetic source is actually, in a sense, the very feminine aspect of the divine God, the divine, whatever you call that. And so what was actually decided upon when we go into whatever these thought form entities, or how when people have the mind virus, they start perceiving things in the carnal mind, of I have to get from you to have, I have to absorb what you have to have what I have, and that sort of thing. What that means is lust. It causes all of this stuff and conflict and war and grabbing this and stuff, and it's all this identity and acceptance as this is who I am. And so when you get back to the basics, that's the first thing I need to misidentify yourself as a physical body. I am already who I am. If that's when you want to know that, and that the eternal truth is who you are, and the highest truth is who you are, and the absolute truth is who you are, and the absolute is who you are, with all those divine qualities, abilities, and talents and powers. This is in minute quantity, yet connected with and always with each other and source. So this is acknowledging who we are, and as being here in this sense and right now, you want to be able to activate yourself that way and acknowledge that. And what happens is we're always trying to become something or get there anyway. No, we're already there. And now is the time to activate all of your divine powers and acknowledgement of what would you say? An acknowledgement of however we've been helped. I've had so many great helpers along the way in every kind of possible way. And one of my heart's desires, if I had any, would be that any people who ever studied with me before, have read my books in the past, that they would come to watch these videos and come to know, and not, it's like they all say, what went wrong? Were you crazy? There was no scandal. It's all this stuff's made up to make it look bad. It was terrible. It was over, and I knew it was over. And what was that had been done, it was time, and I had to go on, because I had more work to do for myself. And my commitment is always first to me for my spiritual life, and to immediately offer it to others, and immediately to apply it to myself and to help. Okay. And when you know that's how you are, that you can acknowledge you are a real being. You're not a synthetic, you're not artificial, you're not, and it's a sense of it, and it's, you know that, and you feel that, and that's who you are. That can never be duplicated or anything like that. And it's beyond any kind of frequency, or any of those kind of things, but to know and be who you are. And that means in each moment is our opportunity, and the more we're right here and right now, and all of the other stuff, all the guilt, all the stuff that's going on, it doesn't mean we don't correct. We want to correct our errors, but the purpose of life isn't about attaining something someday, according to whoever else says this or not. No, it's about being there now. And that's be there now. And it's not about getting there. When you are where you are now, whatever needs to be in that moment, you will know, and you will do. And when there's a glitch, something you feel, what should I, and you know, and you sense it, and you feel, please trust yourself. And you say, well, I wonder if I fail. And what will they say? Yes, they will. They'll criticize you. They'll judge you. They'll do all that kind of stuff. That's the mind. And that will happen. And your mind will do that. And it will tell you every kind of thing that doesn't work, because the mind can only function. That virus can only live off of your attention, of your focus, your love, your faith, your belief. You're giving your power to that. You say, take your power back. Own it for yourself. That's the job. That's the work, you see. And that's what to do. And when the triggers are there, let's unlock that. That's a program. It's very strong, very deep. Basic one, I want you to love me and never abandon me or leave me. God never abandons you or leaves you, because you are part of the divine. You cannot leave yourself. You could think you're alone. You can think you're not. You could think you're not part of. Yet you are. You see? And that's where, as you build those pleasures of the soul, wherever you walk is holy ground. And you are already in the kingdom, the queendom, however you want to call that, of the divine. Yeah. So take a nice deep breath. And be right where you are. And let yourself experience the love within yourself of the divine, your beloved. The divine mother, father, lover, friend, always. In your love affair, and receive and feel and sense and operate and make your choices from there. And you'll know. This is it.